Of course, as we wait until the PS5 finally gets release date and price, we do have some new info coming from a brand new game by Ember Labs that really shocked me at the PS5 reveal event where it was first shown, and it's called, of course, Kena Bridge of Spirits. And we did get some really cool details about the actual comparison and how it's going to be a lot different from PS4 to PS5, as of course there will be two versions, actually three versions of this game, of course, PS4, PS5, and PC, but they did want to lay out specifically how it differs from the PS4 version into the PS5 version for next generation. So what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD, want you to here back here at PlayStation Source, and we are going to discuss all the details about what makes the PS5 version different about Kena Bridge of Spirits. And before we get into all the details, make sure to hit up that description where you can find our Discord, our Twitter, as well as our Anchor link. That way you can listen to long-form content and podcast format. That, of course, being Road to PS5, the weekly PS5 podcast here on the channel, Sundays at 10 a.m. on your favorite podcast service of choice, that being Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, all those great stuffs. Links below in the description, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Stars to keep up with the latest and greatest on PlayStation and, of course, PS5 and all that goes into the PS5 generation that we are about to hit. But starting off here, Kena Bridge of Spirits by Ember Labs. Of course, they did want to lay out a lot about how, of course, the game will look better on PS5 resolution, and I'm sure frame rates will be better as well and stuff like that. But they really wanted to get into how specifically it will really differ from the PS4 version and probably the PC version as well because of the PS5's SSD. And they say here first off that Kena will launch from boot up, and just to be clear, that is not from a suspend state, from a completely just closed application to getting into the game will take approximately 2 seconds on the PS5. That's of course power of the SSD showing right there, and that is crazy speeds that we will see not only on Kena but I'm sure a lot of other games in the future. The game also wasn't initially designed for the PS5 hardware as it started development on PS4, but the horsepower allowed Ember Lab to do a lot more with the game, as it will detail here as well in these direct quotes. It's been really nice. We've been on development on PS4 for most of the project, and squeezing it and getting the performance that we wanted out of it was a nightmare. But having done all that, when we went to PS5, it was nice because we had a good baseline and then we could just add to it and take advantage of the extra juice. So it looks like them starting off with PS4, they were able to stretch it and really see the boundaries of what they were trying to make and everything. And then once they had the PS5 in-house, they were able to take it up another level and really double down on the thing that they wanted to do but maybe couldn't because of the PS4 version, all that good stuff. So really great to see that the PS5's power is being used for these smaller games, as well as of course the big major titles as well. There has been no side-by-side comparison shown off, but the PS5 version is said to have much more lush environments than the PS4 version. But at the same time, combat is at the heart of Kena Bridge of Spirits, and they wanted to ensure that the combat still remains at the heart of the overall experience, and they definitely didn't want the overall performance to be compromised on the PS4 hardware because they made better looking environments. So they definitely wanted to make sure that the overall combat experience and gameplay point of view and everything is not compromised due to it looking better from an environmental standpoint in the game. So they definitely took some concessions and probably lowered down some sliders and everything, maybe took off some lush from all the environments to make sure that the game is running properly on PS4 as well. So in the game, Kena will utilize these different type of animals called rot, which we will go into a little more detail about the rot in another video that goes into more of like the lore and the different aspects of the game from a story perspective, but this is just strictly talking about a PS5 to PS4 comparison of the game. And so they did want to lay out that even though there are going to be a lot of rot in this game, they are very prominent in the game, as there are about 100 different types of rot in the game. But on the PS5 version, you will be able to see all of them at one time in the exact same screen, as opposed to seeing only a portion of them on the PS4 due to of course having to maintain that performance on the PS4. But they also ensured that the functionality of them, because long story short, they are going to be used to helping you out in combat, as well as making sure that you are able to get through the world through different things. So they will be essentially a tool that you will be able to bend and really direct to help you out on your journey, all these different routes. And so they want to make sure that although you won't be able to see all 100 of them on the PS4 version, they are still functionally the same. So they both functionally function the same on on PS4 or PS5. It's just that you will see more of them on the PS5 version as opposed to the PS4 version. While of course the PS5 from a box hardware perspective is going to be bringing us that SSD, that really enhanced graphics and all that good stuff, we still have the DualSense that will be a major part in how PS5 games will be changed and will feel different than their predecessors. And so they did want to lay out the differences with playing on a DualSense controller, which is of course the main PS5 controller. They say that, quote, the triggers on the DualSense controller have resistance on them, so we're utilizing that for heavy attacks, but also for the bow. You draw it and the way it sounds and the resistance feels like a bow tightening up. The triggers are a part of it, but when you get the haptics in the hands, it really brings it all together. Obviously, you feel the tension in your trigger finger, but when you've got the bow drawn and you add the rod into it, we can dynamically say, okay, this right palm feels the rod jumping into it. And then when we use the rod cloud, as the cloud shifts from left to right on the screen, you can feel it transitioning from left to right in your hand as well. So really cool stuff there. We did hear similar things about this when they had that whole DualSense blog post that we covered here on the channel as well, where they talked about how, you know, on the Venom punches in Spider-Man Miles Morales, you will be able to feel the lightning strike from left to right on the controller as well. So it sounds like a similar thing going on here with Kenna Bridges Spirits as well. They also had a designer that was formerly from Naughty Dog talking about how they use the DualShock inputs to create rumble, as opposed to the DualSense now with haptic feedback. They can now control it via audio waves. Quote, we're a small team and there's only so much experimentation we can do with it, but we've gotten so much cool stuff in already. So I guess that is really cool how, you know, before on the DualShock, when you hear like a rumble and different stuff like that, some of those were triggered by direct DualShock inputs from you hitting X or square or triangle, but now it looks like on the DualSense they will be able to have certain audio waves and different audio cues that will enable that haptic feedback as well. So it's really cool to see that they are going to change it up and really make it feel immersive in that aspect as well. And lastly here, they definitely end off saying that while they really love the version on PS4, they are very much looking towards the PS5 version, and definitely that is the preference in the studio overall. And they say that they, you know, like the DualShock controller, but they really want to be playing this game on the DualSense with PS5. And they did reiterate that the PS4 version will have a free upgrade to the PS5 version. So in case you want to buy it, which I guess a little bit of a tidbit from the next video on Kenna Bridges Spirits, the game will not be full price. It will be under $60 that they did confirm today. But overall, if you want to buy it on PS4, it will be a free upgrade to PS5. But most importantly, guys, if you are looking out for Kenna Bridges Spirits, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which version will you be picking up? Are you enticed to pick it up on PS4 and upgrade on PS5? Or you can wait till PS5 like I most likely will? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also while you are down there to check out our description where you can find links to our Twitter, our Discord server, as well as our Anchor link. That way you can listen to our long form content and podcast format. Those of course being Road to PS5, where we go over PS5 news and topics up until the release of PS5, and other Road to series podcasts dedicated to your favorite PlayStation IP. Like the video if you enjoyed it, ring that notification bell so you never miss a stream or an upload, as well as hit that join button or link in the description to become a member of the channel. With the $5 King tier or the $1 Prince tier, just like the homies Owen, Bashful Brody, and of course Caleb Kaiser did. Stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation and all things PS5. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.